Good morning, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Sarasota. Whether you're a member, a regular attendee, or you've just found us, we want you to know that we're here to support you in finding a personal relationship with the God of your understanding and in discovering what you already know. My name is Jerry Bateman, and I greet you with Namaste. Namaste is Sanskrit and means the divinity in me recognizes and honors the divinity in you. Let's begin our time together by affirming our vision and mission statements. The words can be seen on your screen. Please join with me in reading them aloud. First, our vision: empowering spiritual growth as a loving, inclusive, worldwide community. And now our mission. We teach science of mind principles and other life-affirming spiritual truths. We explore, we learn, we grow, we connect, honoring all paths to God. We offer in-person and online weekly services, classes, workshops, affirmative prayer support, and other spiritual tools. We create opportunities for joyful social connection, community outreach, and service. And we celebrate the awakening of our innate spiritual magnificence. Now, as we prepare for our time of prayer and meditation, I invite you to close your eyes, take a deep cleansing breath as Bob Teesdale helps us to go within through a song by Karen Drucker entitled One Breath at a Time.
One breath at a time. One breath at a time. That's where grace comes in. One breath at a time. One breath at a time. One breath at a time. That's where grace comes in. One breath at a time. One step at a time. One step at a time. That's where peace comes in. One step at a time. One step at a time. One step at a time. That's where peace comes in. One step at a time. One breath at a time. One breath at a time. That's where grace comes in. One breath at a time.
Today, in this moment, I remember that there is one creative power in the universe, the one who is the divine designer, the mother, father of all, has fashioned life perfectly and has ordained a season for everything, birthing, living, and dying, which is natural and predictable in accordance with the universal law. Today, in this moment, I remember who I am and know that oneness is the only reality. As a child of God, I know that I am creation fulfilled and continued in every breath, every heartbeat, every word and act. I am conscious that Spirit lives in me and all beings, and that there is no separation between us. We are united, intertwined, joined as a whole. Today, in this moment, I remember those brave men and women who have given their all and paid the ultimate sacrifice by shedding their blood for this wonderful country. It is the day that all of the white crosses in Arlington Cemetery and all of the poppies in Flanders Field speak for those they represent by saying, "Remember me." Today, in this moment, I remember them and I celebrate their sacrifice, which brings us closer to a world that works for everyone, a world where we live in peace, a world where we live in love. I am filled with gratitude for the promise of that kind of future and for the men and women who gave their lives for that promise. I claim it for each and every one and release it into the law. I remember. It will be so, and so it is. This morning, Reverend Karen Wolfson, our founding minister, will be speaking with us and sharing with us the third in a series of messages around the theme feelings. This week's message is entitled Feelings Using Their Creative Energy. In anticipation of Reverend Karen's words, let us listen to Bob Teesdale as he sets the stage with another Karen Drucker song entitled Every Little Thought I Think.
When I'm feeling down and blue, found a trick I'll share with you. I can't choose a better way with every little thought I think. If I wake up with an attitude, I fill my mind with gratitude, and I give thanks for everything with every little thought I think. I can choose to be happy and I can choose to be free. Moment by moment, it's all up to me, 'cause what I think about, I bring about. That's the way it is, there ain't no doubt. Day by day I pave the way with every little thought I think. When I'm feeling down and blue, I found a trick I share with you. I can choose a better way with every little thought I think. If I wake up with an attitude, I fill my mind with gratitude, and I give thanks for everything with every little thought I think. I can choose to be happy and I can choose to be free. Moment by moment, it's all up to me. All that I think about, I bring about. That's the way it is, there ain't no doubt. Day by day I pave the way with every little thought I think. Every little thought I think. Every little thought I think.
Oh, thank you, Bob. Thank you. The power of our thoughts. What I think about, I bring about. That's the way it is, and there is no doubt, day by day, I pave the way with every little thought I think. Love that song. And of course, you know that this month I'm taking that up a notch from thoughts to feelings, the power of the feelings behind our thoughts. First, it was about feeling joy for no reason. And then last Sunday was about feelings, welcoming all of them. All of them. Recognizing that even the unpleasant and painful feelings aren't the enemy, but they're indicators. And they're an integral part of our wholeness on this human spiritual journey. And today, let's explore just how we can use the creative energy of our feelings because they are powerful. But first, I want to welcome Jerry Bateman to our wonderful Presider platform. You heard her just earlier. And it's so good to have you with us, Jerry. And our platform, our Presider platform, currently consists of Jim Grove, Kathleen Frankert, and Ron Frost. And of course now, Jerry. As you know, the role of Presider is significant because it welcomes you, our viewers, and it sets the tone for our time together. So, welcome, Jerry. Now let's you and I check in with each other. I'm so happy knowing you're out there and wondering always, how are you doing? Let's stay in touch as 2022 unfolds. Just know that I continue to affirm for you a year of vibrant wonder that can look so great in so many ways. And to you, our team of financial contributors, you too are a wonder. You are an absolutely essential part of all that makes it possible for us to share our message, our caring, and our connection. Thank you. So, let me start by saying this. Using the creative energy of our feelings is absolutely essential to the manifestation of our desires. That's why Ernest Holmes, the architect of our teaching, said in many ways, the creative power of spirit responds to feeling more quickly than to any mental attitude. So our prayers should be filled with conviction, warmth, color, imagination, and acceptance. Now, you might be thinking, well, of course, I'm quite aware that I have strong desires for a lot of things, no doubt. In fact, you may be preoccupied and even obsessed with some of these desires, thinking that, well, the more intensely you want them, the more likely you are to eventually, hopefully, manifest at least some of them. Well, here's a newsflash. That very intense desire is not serving as an attraction, but rather as a deflection. Yeah, this isn't to say that desires are the problem. Oh, no. Here's how Dr. Roger Teal put it. He's the Minister Emeritus of Mile High Center for Spiritual Living in Denver. And he said the role of our human desires is to impel us forward, to evolve us. They well up in our hearts to draw out a higher vision for our individual expression. Life has one intention: to live, to flourish, to support more aliveness. Now, another way of saying this is it's God's will. Totally. In fact, this is mentioned many places in the scriptures. The biblical Old Testament and the Psalms, it says, delight yourself in the Lord, or in life, or in the way things work, and he, I'm going to say also she or it, shall give you the desires of your heart. So life, the creator of all, brilliantly created us what? To desire. And to support us in the fulfillment of those desires. But as Dr. Teal tells us, the problem is this: when you fervently desire something, you're most likely intensifying your feeling of the absence of that which you desire. Think of something you really want right now. If you're like me, your mindset is likely, I want it, and I want it so badly, and I don't have it. And the result of that is, well, you will manifest, yes. But what you'll manifest is more of the I don't have it, whatever that is that you desire. The universe always says yes to the feelings, to the creative energy behind our thoughts, our desires. So I'll say it again. If you and I have strong feelings of I don't have it, the universe says yes and responds with more of that, I don't have it. I know. Think about it. Neville Goddard is a brilliant New Thought teacher who lived from 1905 to 1972, or overlapping with the years of Dr. Ernest Holmes. And he took this even further. He said, live in the feeling of being the one you want to be. Make your future desire a present fact by assuming the feeling of your desire fulfilled. I'm going to say that again. Make your future desire a present fact by assuming the feeling of your desire fulfilled. By the way, Wayne Dyer wrote a book that updated and expanded on the teachings of Neville Goddard called Wishes Fulfilled. It's a good book. Check it out. It's called Wishes Fulfilled. So, make your future desire a present fact. Well, how do you do that? Neville gives us 3 simple practices that you're going to love. But first, let's consider this perspective from the perspective of science. I started doing a little bit of research on this, and it was very interesting. Of course, I think most of us know that our idea of linear time is an illusion. And so there are lots and lots of studies on time, and it's fascinating. Einstein simply said the distinction between past, present, and future is only an illusion, even if a stubborn one. Now, I found so many places where science is discovering that past, present, and future exist simultaneously. Yeah, wrap your head around that one. Well, there's a place called the Center for Time. That's right, Center for Time, at the University of Sydney in Australia, where they look at the impact and the ramifications of perspectives on time through philosophy, physics, and psychology. And Dr. David Miller, who is this is his area of specialty there, and he said this. He said, Einstein and the spiritual mystics have told us that past, present, and future are an illusion in a fabric of space-time where all actually exist seamlessly together. So he continues, in view of this, there is no reason why you can't have causes from the future just as you have causes from the past. And there's a word for this. It is called retrocausality. Yeah, retrocausality, and it's based on quantum physics. Simply stated, you can change something about your present life that was set in motion in the past, or you can use the future to change something in the present. That's right. Amazingly, you can use the future to change something in the present. And by the way, along those lines, there's a fascinating book that gives great examples and explanations of this. It's titled Remembering the Future. Think about that, remembering the future. And we'll talk about that more in just a bit. So here are the 3 practices described by Neville, culminating with harnessing the creative energy of your feeling. And the 3 practices are imagination, assumption, and feeling. And he wrote, imagination is the instrument by which you create your world. Imagination is your ability to assume the feeling of a greater concept of yourself, of a greater life right now. The future becomes the present when you imagine and feel that you already are what you will be when your assumption is fulfilled, when your desire is fulfilled. So, number 1, imagination. Now, this is some of what Albert Einstein said about the immense power of imagination. He said, imagination is more important than knowledge, and I will add, it's more important than appearances. And Einstein said, logic will take you from A to Z. Imagination will take you everywhere. And this is the line I love. He said, it is the preview of life's coming attractions. That's right. Imagination is the preview of life's coming attractions. Now that is powerful. Now consider this from a spiritual perspective. Your potential for imagination is without limit. It's beyond any space, time, or material parameters. God, Spirit, is also limitless. So when we're using our imagination, one could say we're tapping into the vast mind of God. In fact, Wayne Dyer, in his book about this, said very simply, my imagination is where my thoughts are the thoughts of God. My imagination is where my thoughts are the thoughts of God. Now, taking this further, the second part of Neville's practice, feeling. Now, you may imagine or visualize vividly in Technicolor, but if there's no feeling, then it's just a nice mental game. And Neville says you must make your future dream or desire a present fact. So how do you do this? By imagining the feeling of your desire already fulfilled. And he continues, do this until your imagination has all the sensory and feeling vividness of the actual experience. Imagine that you are already, right now, experiencing and feeling what you desire. Whew. That can be a stretch for me. See, I can visualize, that is, I can see pretty easily in my mind's eye, but now I recognize that's just a head trip. Adding feeling to the process, well, I'm more familiar with the feeling along the lines of, I sure will feel relieved or excited or whatever when my desire is fulfilled. Putting it in the future, I will feel relieved, excited, whatever, when my desire is fulfilled. What Neville is talking about here is the now moment, feeling it viscerally. Good example is that familiar one of imagining sucking on a lemon wedge. You imagine it and you can't help but taste it and feel it in your mouth and have a physical reaction. That's what Neville means about making your future desire or dream a present fact by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Marinate in it. Experience it right now. Now, more than likely, when you think about the situation you want to change, you desire to change your desire, there may be worry, fear, anxious thoughts that insist on showing up to contradict that. And you know, with those thoughts, there are very noticeable physical sensations that you experience as you inadvertently imagine everything but the desire that you have and imagining everything but having it fulfilled. Based on my present situation, conditions, experience, appearances, or maybe based on past disasters, I can feel fear, anxiety, and worry, even though I've got that desire in my mind. But those contradictory thoughts and feelings come rushing in. Been there ever? Well, you know, and those feelings are visceral, aren't they? I mean, I can feel those immediately in my stomach, my chest, my clammy palms, and my heart pounding. I'm just saying this as a reminder that you and I are very, very capable of feeling something that we're already imagining. Our imagination and our feeling, oh yeah, they can work hand in hand, no question about it, physically and in every way. So I think you get it. The point is to imagine something different and feel that experience. Author Greg Braden writes this. He said, feeling is the language that speaks to the divine matrix, to the universe. So feel as though your intention or your desire is accomplished and your prayer is already answered. So imagine, feel, and the third part of this process is assuming. That's something that we're taught is not a very practical thing to do, right, in our day-to-day lives, assuming. But This is what Neville writes about this. He said, assume the imagined feeling of your desire already fulfilled. You must assume the feeling of the desire fulfilled until your assumption has all the sensory vividness and feeling of the real experience. You must assume that you're already experiencing what you desire. Assume the feeling of the fulfillment of your desire until this feeling replaces all other ideas and feelings in your consciousness. To imagine and then to feel and then anchor it by assuming it. Wow. Neville says your assumption places you mentally where you are not physically. Think about that. Your assumption places you mentally where you are not physically. Assumption brings the invisible into sight. It is seeing with the eye of God. Dr. Roger Teal pointed out the biblical passage where Jesus declared this, "For to the one who has more, more will be given. And from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away." What he was saying is that to the one who has the have consciousness, more will be given. But to the one who has a have not consciousness, even what that person has will be on shaky ground and fall away. So he says the antidote to the dilemma is to recognize that the desire and its fulfillment are one. It's like the acorn and the oak. They are simply different dimensions of the very same thing. Well, a clear desire is a seed containing the pattern for its eventual manifestation. So the key is to look and pray from, not for, the fulfillment of that desire. Pray from, not for, the fulfillment of that desire. And do this with great feeling. Again, the Bible passage says, whatsoever you desire when you pray, believe that you have received it. Hear that? Believe that you have received it, and you shall receive. Notice the tense. Believe that you have received. And now, let's wrap this up by taking it one step further. It is a theme of the book I mentioned earlier, Remembering the Future by Daniel Barrett and Joe Vitale. You framed your desire using your imagination, your feeling, and your assumption, and now go past that fulfilled desire to the day or the week or the month or the year after that fulfillment is complete. This is all in your mind, all in your imagination, your feeling. Mary Mannon Morrissey in her classes included the use of a tool to help with this. They're the OMG cards, Oh My God cards. And here's a sample. Oh my God, it worked. My desire, and you fill that in, turned out so perfectly. I had more than enough, and again, you fill in the blank. I felt such relief, joy, you fill in the blank. And then expand on that. This is what happened. And you fill that card out, and it's a way of making tangible your remembering the future. You're using your imagination to take that to the future and bring it right back into the present. And finally, there is a website called www.futureme.org. That's right, www.futureme.org. And at that website, you can write such a letter to yourself from the future. Fulfilled desire, about your fulfilled desire, and then the website will send it to send it back to you on a future date of your choosing. Sounds like fun. So, what do you desire? Imagine it, feel it, assume it's already fulfilled, and remember, it's all about enjoying and tapping the creative energy of your feelings. In the words of Karen Drucker's song, keep that passion burning. Keep that passion burning. And so it is.
I've been feeling down, feeling beat. Been bruised by all the heat. Been trying to get ahead. At times I feel like giving up instead, but I know I've got to keep that passion burning in my soul. It's so hard to find my way, so much to push through every day. Got mountains to climb. I'm gonna use my will, I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna keep that passion burning in my soul. Oh, you don't know just what you'll find when you get to the other side. Can't hesitate, it might be too late. Just take it one day at a time. Take a chance, dive right in. Can't worry if I lose or win, 'cause life is just a game. When we go, we all end up the same. I've got to keep that passion burning in my soul. You don't know just what you'll find when you get to the other side. Can't hesitate, it might be too late. Just take it one day at a time. When I take a look inside my heart, I know now is the time to start. Got to find my inspiration, gotta use my imagination. I got to keep that passion burning. Keep that passion burning. Yeah, keep that passion burning in my soul. In my soul. Keep that passion burning. Yeah. In my soul. I'm gonna keep that passion burning in my soul.
Thank you, Reverend Karen, for gifting us with your timely and practical words, and Bob for making it all live with that toe-tapping rendition of Keep That Passion Burnin'. Now, as we move into our time of offering, we want you to know that we're so grateful for your generous financial support of this center that allows us to support you in so many ways. There are 3 easy ways to share your offering. On your screen, you'll see our website, which is www.cslsarasota.com, where you can choose from these options. You can select the donate button, which allows you to contribute by PayPal or credit card, or you can mail a check to our address. You could also set up automatic contributions through your own online banking. And now I invite you to place your hand over your heart as you reflect on your gift, blessing it as you share it. And know this with me: my gift goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper. And the divine flow returns it to me, multiplied abundantly. Now, please join me in offering our affirmation which is on your screen. I give thanks that I may share of my good, my love, and my support. Thank you so much. Now, if you would like prayer support, please draw your attention to the green prayer request button on the website. We invite you to use this feature to send us your request. Our 5 licensed spiritual practitioners, Kathleen Frankert, Jim Grove, Ron Frost, Nicole Leeds, and Sean Scanlon, are available to know and affirm spiritual truth with you and for you in whatever challenge you may be experiencing. They're also available for 1-hour spiritual coaching sessions by appointment. For more information, check under the staff link on the left side of the screen and select practitioners. Also on our website, you can sign up to receive our weekly email newsletter. Check out our Facebook page for posts about upcoming events. Finally, our Spiritual Living Circle meets via Zoom every Wednesday evening for 1 hour, beginning at 7 p.m. and concluding at 8 p.m. We discuss an article from the current Science of Mind magazine, and this week we'll be discussing the article by Ernest Holmes entitled The Healing Presence Within You. This is a wonderful, no-cost opportunity for spiritual development as well as social connection with other like-minded individuals. If you would like to participate, please email Jim Grove at the address shown on your screen, and he will send you the Zoom link, the article, and a discussion guide. I can personally attest to the power of the circle as a midweek pick-me-up and centering experience. Now, as we conclude this sacred time together, let us move forward into our day and the week ahead with joy, knowing that peace and love are ever in us, as us, and working through us to create that better world. I invite you to listen or join in singing our closing song, Let There Be Peace on Earth. Thank you for being with us this morning, and have a great week, everyone.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be with God our Creator. We are family. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my solemn